the Nonprofit Podcast, powered by Donorbox. If you work in the nonprofit space, you know how important the giving season is. It's that time of year when generosity is in the air and your chance to drive some major support for your cause is right there for the taking. But with so many voices out there, how do you make sure your campaign captures hearts, minds, and donations? Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast. I'm Jenna, the Education and Community Engagement Manager here at Donorbox. We're here each week with practical actions you can use today to take your nonprofit to the next level tomorrow. I'm here with Britt, our fundraising strategist at Donorbox, and today we're diving into a simple but powerful 3-point roadmap to help you build a standout giving season fundraising campaign. Hey, Britt.
Hey, Jenna, so excited to be here. Giving season, it's completely like the Super Bowl of fundraising, and we have some really practical insights to share today.
Absolutely. So, what is the first step you recommend when developing a really solid strategy for giving season? We're wasting no time here.
No time. Yes, the first thing you've got to do is set specific, clear goals. Are you trying to attract those first-time donors, boost recurring donations, or maybe bring in lapsed donors back? Each goal, it's going to help you shape how you approach your messaging and your outreach.
So, can you give an example of how that might look in practice?
Sure thing. Yeah. So if your goal is to attract first-time donors, your messaging should really emphasize how easy it is to give and talk about the immediate impact their donations will have. For example, you might highlight that even a small gift can provide meals for families in need. Or, on the other hand, it might be you just want to increase recurring donations where you need to focus on the benefits of ongoing support, like exclusive updates or the impact of sustained giving.
Okay, so it really starts with understanding your audience and what motivates them. That's what I'm hearing. So, what else is important to consider as you outline your strategy?
Well, beyond setting goals, you need to select the right channels for outreach. Are you primarily using your social media, email, or is it direct mail? Each channel, Jenna, it's going to have its own audience and best practices. For instance, younger supporters, we know that they might respond better to social media campaigns, while older donors might prefer direct mail or email.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's spot on. And thinking about all this, timing plays a big role too. We're in year end and timing is everything. So, how do you suggest organizations map out their outreach with the right timings?
Yes, absolutely. Mapping out a content calendar can be extremely helpful. It's going to help you plan exactly when and what to send out. It keeps you organized and really ensures that your messages are cohesive and strategically timed. Plus, Jenna, you can create a sense of urgency by highlighting matching gift opportunities or setting deadlines for donations, encouraging immediate action.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, I think we do have a communication content calendar somewhere in the Donorbox nonprofit blog. If so, I'll be sure we link that in the show notes. I found this resource incredibly helpful. So it's not just about sending out messages randomly. It's all about creating that thoughtful, engaging experience. And speaking of messaging, I want to talk about that as well. People are more likely to give when they feel something, right? Especially during the holidays. So how can organizations craft messages that really resonate with their audience?
Yeah, so Jenna, this doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Crafting a message that tugs at those heartstrings is everything. Consider headlines like "Give Hope This Holiday" or "Your gift changes lives right now." It's all about showing them what their contribution will achieve. So a quick strategy checklist for all our listeners out there. Set those goals. Get specific about what you want to achieve. Nail down your message. Make it emotionally resonant and clear. Select your channels. Choose the right methods for your audience and create that content calendar. Plan your outreach thoughtfully and ahead of time because you really want to maximize impact.
Fantastic. I think that this makes it very accessible. All right. So now that we've laid the groundwork here on some strategy, let's move on to the next step in our framework. So once we have the solid strategy in place, the next step is to engage your donors, right? Keeping people interested and involved is absolutely key to your campaign success.
It's all about making the outreach personal and meaningful. Let's be honest, no one likes feeling like they're just another name on a mailing list.
Exactly. And one of the most effective ways to engage donors is through segmentation. We talk about segmentation so much. It may sound fancy, but at its core, it's really just about grouping your supporters based on how they engage with your organization.
That makes so much sense. By doing this, you can really tailor your messages to resonate with each group on a deeper level.
Yes, absolutely. Tailoring your outreach is so important. So, for instance, if you have a group of monthly donors, you might send them updates specifically highlighting the ongoing impact of their contributions. On the other hand, for occasional donors, you could share stories about what their one time gifts have accomplished. Personalization, Brett, goes such a long way in making your supporters feel seen and valued. And I know I say this probably every other podcast episode. But if you're talking to everyone, you're not really talking to anyone. So you need to segment your donors and understand how you're talking to them so that it feels more personal and valuable. And our integrated Donorbox CRM's Mail Center lets you assign emails, track communications, and personalize your outreach to build stronger relationships with your donors through this personalized messaging and building that messaging that actually means something to them.
And let's not forget about the power of storytelling. I think that's one area where you just truly shine.
Thanks, Britt. I love talking about donor engagement and especially storytelling. Donors want to know where their contributions are making a difference. So, sharing those real life stories about individuals or communities that have benefited from your organization's work can really pull them in. So, for example, instead of saying, "We provided care for animals to your donors," you could share a story about a specific dog that was rescued from a difficult situation. And thanks to donor support, this dog received the medical treatment it needed and the love it needed. And now it's in its forever home, bringing joy to a family that had been looking for a dog. And I don't know about you, but those stories always pull at my heartstrings.
Those happy dog stories and so many other stories, Jenna, it just makes the impact so much more tangible. People love connecting with stories, not just numbers.
Yes, exactly. And it's not just about emails and social posts. Those can certainly have a big bang, but you could also consider hosting virtual or in-person events where you can share these stories in a more effective way. So you're feeling that energy in the room, engaging your donors directly, and then asking them to share their own experiences or reasons for supporting your cause. It just creates such a sense of community and can be really moving in that setting.
I completely agree. And let me just add to this, peer-to-peer fundraising, it's a fantastic way to engage your supporters, empowering them to fundraise on your behalf. It doesn't just expand your reach, but what it really does is it deepens their connection to the mission.
You know, I love peer to peer. When supporters feel like they're a part of a larger movement, it motivates them to engage more deeply, right? You're making it personal. The benefits of peer to peer fundraising are huge. So it allows your supporters to take ownership of the fundraising process. And so they reach out to their networks and share why the cause matters to them. And the basic process is so straightforward. You set up a campaign page, provide some resources for your supporters, and encourage them to share their personal fundraising pages. And even better, if you're low on staff capacity and you don't have time to do all this fundraising, you're really casting a wider net and you've got built-in fundraisers right here. It's really amazing.
That's really a great way to amplify your efforts. And just thinking about this, speaking of engagement, gift matching programs, they can really ramp things up, right?
Yes. When donors know that their gifts will be matched, It creates an amazing sense of urgency and motivates them to give. A donor or a group of donors can pledge to match any donations made during a set of time, making supporters feel like their contributions are having an immediate impact. And this is such a great motivator for end of year campaigns. This works really well on your crowdfunding pages. It can also work in peer to peer settings as well. But just in general, end of year campaigns really benefit from that gift matching feature.
And let's not forget about employer matching gifts. So many organizations, they overlook this. This is an amazing resource.
Yes. And using fundraising platforms that integrate with double the donation can really help streamline the process for your donors. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I think that's why so many organizations do overlook employer matching gifts, but you can integrate and make it so easy. It makes it so easy for donors to check if their employer has a matching gift program. All they have to do is look it up in the double the donation database. So I think that's really cool.
So cool. And it's just such a straight way to double those contributions coming in.
And I always say, if you're not using double the donation, then you are absolutely 100% leaving money on the table. And there's no good reason for that. And speaking of double the donation, be sure to tune into the Nonprofit podcast next week. We're going to have Amelia on from Double the Donation to dive deeper into matching gifts for year-end campaigns. So we're definitely in for a treat there.
I cannot wait to hear what she has to share, Jenna.
All right, Britt, we've laid out a solid strategy and we've engaged our donors effectively. But what about the critical step that it often gets overlooked in our experience? It's the follow-up. This is where donor stewardship comes into play. And it's so, so, so important for building lasting relationships with supporters and bringing your year-end supporters into the new year with you as well.
Ooh, I love the follow-up. Yes, many organizations, they think that once those donations come in, their job is done. But that's just the beginning. You know, from my experience, how you follow up can greatly impact future donations. Jenna, what do you think is the most important aspect of follow-up?
That's a great question. First and foremost, timely thank you notes cannot be stressed enough. The moment someone donates, it's so important to acknowledge their generosity. A quick, heartfelt thank you can go such a long way in making donors feel appreciated. It does not have to be elaborate by any means. It just has to be timely and sincere.
I completely agree. Last week I donated to an international development organization. They're massive. They're doing expansive work abroad. And yet they still sent me a handwritten thank you note. I think what really shocked me was they didn't just write a generic thank you message. They followed up on a personal comment I left when I made my donation. And that was such a big deal to me. And it just made me feel just so acknowledged.
The little things go such a long way. What a big bang impact. And sharing the real impact of donations is another important detail, and that can go into your follow-up and your thank yous. You should let your donors know exactly how their contributions are making a difference. So this can be done through an impact report on top of that thank you message, or through social media shout-outs, or even a short video filmed on your iPhone showcasing the specific ways that your donor support is helping your organization achieve its goals.
Yeah, and just to reinforce what you're saying, Jenna, I think communicating impact in your follow-up should never be overlooked. When donors see those tangible results from their contributions, it reinforces their decision of why they're supporting you. It's not just about asking for money, it's about showing them how they're part of this larger solution.
Yes, for sure. And don't forget, the giving season may come to a close, but your mission does not. So you need to keep donors engaged year-round. So make sure in your follow-up after your thank yous that you're staying in touch, right? Invite them to be a part of your community through a membership program, or signing up for a newsletter, or personalized events that keep them in the loop about your organization's progress and ongoing needs. You don't want to collect that donation and just say goodbye to them. You want to keep them engaged all the way through.
Such great advice. And getting creative in the types of events that you're inviting your donors to be part of. I remember, Jenna, when I used to lead a regional diaper bank here in Washington, we regularly hosted behind the scenes tours of our massive warehouse. We stored all of these basics, diapers, formula, clothing for children experiencing homelessness. And I think that these tours really brought the work to life for the people that were supporting us, because it wasn't just about the amount of inventory needed to feed, diaper, and clothe kids in our area. It was about giving them a clear picture of all the time, all the effort, and the logistics that were involved in delivering those services. And so when donors can see their impact in action like that, it really deepens their connection and it strengthens their commitment to your cause.
Yes, absolutely. Just a couple of weeks ago, I attended a nonprofit networking event at a local food bank, and they just expanded their warehouse and their community kitchen. And I was just blown away by how many people signed up just for the tour. Something so unexpected really brought so much engagement and excitement around the cause. And speaking of consistent engagement, Donorbox offers some fantastic tools for this. For instance, with Donorbox CRM, you can segment your supporters based on their giving patterns or their interests in certain programs and tailor your follow-up communications really well. This ensures that you're not just sending generic messages, but rather those personalized ones that resonate with their interests.
So true, Jenna. It's all about using data to inform your strategic outreach. For example, if you know of a donor that's particularly interested in a specific program, you can send them updates related to that initiative, making them feel more connected.
Yes, and that's where Donorbox Donation Driver AI within the Donorbox CRM comes in handy. This is like your built-in sidekick, your assistant right there within your dashboard. It can help organizations analyze donor behavior and preferences, allowing for even more personalized and effective follow-up strategies. And the insights you can gain make your outreach feel even more tailored and thoughtful. You're seeing a theme here, right?
And let's not forget, add to that the Donorbox Meal Center, and you have the perfect tool for personalizing outreach and keeping your donors informed about your organization's work, all within one ecosystem.
Exactly. Okay, so here's a quick checklist for everyone on effective follow-up. You want to send your thank you notes immediately to show your appreciation, quick and sincere. Share the impact of their donation with stories or reports that really illustrate the difference that they made. And engage your supporters year-round through memberships, newsletters, or events to keep them connected. Don't let them just donate once and then fade away. You want to keep them engaged and bring them into the new year.
I think this framework, it's straightforward, but equally important for a successful giving season and for building those long-lasting connections.
Every little interaction counts. And when you think about it, these steps are opportunities to really connect with people and just show them the impact that they're having. Thank you so much for joining me today, Britt. It's always great chatting with you about these things.
Likewise, I love digging into all these topics.
And thank you for joining us on the Nonprofit Podcast. I hope you've left with the confidence to take a small step today that will make a big difference tomorrow. Be sure to click the download button on your podcast player, then leave the Nonprofit Podcast a review, or give it a thumbs up if you're listening to the Nonprofit Podcast on YouTube. Your review is a great way to help others find us. You're here to help others. We're here to help you. Until next time, stay inspired.
That warm feeling when you help someone, it's not just happiness, it's fulfillment. And we believe it should be available to everyone, from frontline heroes to first-time fundraisers. Our tools empower you to help others. This is our mission. This is Donorbox, helping you help others.